Hey there, it's Kat and this is Brews and Reviews. So today's TBR video is going to be a little bit complicated because I'm taking part in all the readathons. Okay, not all of them because technically that would be impossible. As it is, this is going to be super stressful, except you know what, there are a lot of readathons, including one I am hosting, happening in May, and I want to support people, so I'm going to do my best to take part in all the readathons. To be honest, I think it works out quite well because I can read a lot of the same books as long as I read them in a specific time frame for certain readathons. It'll be fine. It's going to be fine. So we'll say the books that I'm going to be reading for the Because We Can Readathon, which is the readathon I am hosting along with Jenna from Just a Little Bit Random and Kat from Stars and Embers. I'm going to be putting that up separately, so I won't talk about any of the books that I'm going to read for that. But let's get into the other books that I'm going to be reading in May. Because there's a lot of May that isn't the 11th to the 17th of May, which is when the Because We Can Readathon takes place. You can definitely take part if you want to. You know, just saying, just saying. So the other readathons that I'm going to be taking part in this month are the books for the Brave Readathon, the mentalhealth-athon, and the Bookemon Readathon. Two of those are month-long readathons, and one of them takes place in the same week as the Because We Can Readathon. That does make it a little tiny bit awkward for me to take part, so I am only going to be reading one book for it, but it is going to be a book that I've picked for Because We Can, so I won't talk about it here. I'd just like to add that I have donated, and I will be reading one book that sort of covers both prompts, so I am kind of taking part in it, but not really, but I have donated because I do think it's a really worthy cause. Okay, so the way that the other two readathons that I'm taking part in work are that Mental Health-athon has a sort of set of prompts that require actually looking into books, but Bookemon doesn't. So I can take part in the Bookemon readathon while taking part in Mental Health-athon and my other readathons, and that is super awesome because I love taking part in all of these readathons and I don't want to miss out on that. So first I'm going to tell you guys about the Mental Health-athon books that I've picked because they are more of a sort of finite set of books that I'm definitely going to be reading. So I'm not going to be reading anything for the group book because I don't own it, and I am trying to read things that are on my shelf and not order any parcels that I don't like really need to order necessarily, because I ordered a few too many books recently, so I need to stop because it's not good. It's not a good time to order more books, especially when I have so many. So I won't be doing the group book, and I'm also not going to be doing the non-fiction book because I don't really read non-fiction, and I don't think it's a good time for me to start because I'm in like a weird mood and I don't want to, so I'm not going to do that one. So for the host pick, I'm going to be picking Simone's pick, and that is Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine, and wow, that name is a mouthful to say. That's by Gail Honeyman, and yeah, I've been interested in reading this one for quite a while now, and I keep putting it off because I keep seeing it in like the supermarket. I go to pick it up and like the cover feels really rough and gross, and I'm like, I'm not picking that up. So I picked the audiobook up and I'm going to be listening to it. I don't really know what the mental health threat for this is, but I'm definitely interested to find out because I've heard really good things about this book. For the Learn More and the newest on the TBR prompt, I'm going to be reading Am I Normal Yet by Holly Bourne. I've heard great things about this, and I think it's, again, anxiety. I think there's OCD rap in it. I'm just interested to hear about it because the hosts of Mental Health-athon, all of them, have raved about this book, and I'm like, well, I need to read a Holly Bourne, don't I really? So let's get to it. So this next one I may not get around to because it is a reread, and I'm like, do I want to do a reread? I don't know, it depends what mood I'm in. For the YA book and the book with green on the cover, I'm going to be reading Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. I read this book back when I watched BookTube but didn't have a BookTube channel, so like this is one of like the ones that I thought I'd read, and I loved it. I read it in a day, and I'm interested to see how I relate to this book now that I am older and more in touch with my anxiety and sort of get myself a little bit more, because this book really reminded me of when I was a teenager. I used to love fan fiction. I used to write a lot of fan fiction, way too much fan fiction. So I definitely related to this. And yeah. So it'll be interesting to see if I still feel the same way about it. So for the book that's oldest on my TBR, I'm going to be reading Binti the Night Masquerade because this is the third in the Binti novella series, and I just haven't picked it up yet. I don't know why. It has PTSD in it, so I am definitely interested to read that, and yeah. Oh, that was by Nadia Corafor. I did not say that, but it's by her. So the only other thing that I'm going to be doing for Mental Health-athon is the self-care thing on the bingo board. I'm probably going to bake. I might sleep. I like sleeping. Sleeping is good. I'm just going to try not to stress myself out and just do reading, because reading calms me down a lot of the time, so I need to actually just go chill. So now let's talk about the Bookmark Readathon, which is this time the reading raid, and the aim of the game is to get as many points by reading all the books that fulfill all of the different challenges, and we're trying to take down Team Rocket, who've been Team Rocket. That's a terrible explanation. This is a really well thought out readathon and is very clever. There's just a lot to explain about it, so I'll just leave a link to the readathon down below. I will do that for all the readathons that I'm taking part in this month, in case you're more interested in finding anything out about any of them. So for this iteration of the readathon, you get to pick a Pokemon that you caught in the last round, and I caught 134 Pokemon in the last round. I was so close to all of them. And the Pokemon that you pick gives you like a bonus thing for every book that you read. So depending on the way that you plan to read throughout the month, you can like strategically get a load of extra points just by picking the correct Pokemon for you. So with that in mind, I actually picked Rhymedon, which is Rhydon, and yeah, so the reason that I picked this is because it is a rock and a ground type, and you can get both bonuses for rock and ground. So the rock bonus is every book that you read over 500 pages gets you bonus points of the pages in that book. So if you get at least 500 points there. So I'm thinking that's good. And ground is to read anything off your own TBR, and I'm like, this is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to read books that I already own. So like, good shout. And that's another extra 500 points. So I'm like, you know, if I read a book that's over 500 pages and I already own it, then that could only work out well. So all the books that I'm reading for other readathons will also count towards this readathon, so that's really good. And I'm just picking up some other books that I can read throughout the month as well. So I'm going to briefly go through those now. I won't go into any of the points that they earned, but I have like calculated them all because I thought that would be an easier way of just inputting it into the spreadsheet afterwards. Yeah, so I'm going to get a lot of points, hopefully, if I can read these things. So, first off we have Lion Cub by J.P. Harker. This is the third book in the Caledon saga, and it's a chunker. As you can see, I think it's like over 700 pages, so I'm looking forward to my extra points that I'm going to get here, because I already owned it as well. I have already started reading this one. I'm doing it as a buddy read with Kayla from Crack Into a Good Book, and we are having just a time with this book. Like, if you wanted a book with a shit ton of twists that will, like, the expressions that have been on my face while reading this was something to behold. I'll just leave it at that, because wow, okay, stuff is happening in this book. I'm also a little way into The Dream Thieves by Maggie Stiefvater. I started reading this one a while ago and then just stopped reading it for some reason. I don't know why. I'm really enjoying it. I just need to actually sit down, pick it up and read through it, because I am enjoying it. I'm going to be picking up Destined to Feel by Indigo Bloom. This is the second book in the Destined to Fly. You know, I made a whole Complaints with Cat video about it. Basically, I'm reading it because apparently this one gets crazier, and I keep saying I'm going to read it and then I don't read it. And let's just say I'm really behind on my Black Shelf project, so I really need to read some books off of there. This is the only definite one that I know I'm going to pick up, but I do need to pick up another one because it's on my May goals thing, so probably will pick another weird sex book up. I also want to read The Kingdom by Jess Rothenberg, and yeah, this is just one I've heard a little bit about. It's like Disney with robots and like android people that are like the princesses for it, so it sounds interesting. And I think the only other book that I want to specifically dedicate to this TBR is Kings of the Wild by Nicholas Eames. I keep saying I'm going to read it, people keep telling me to read it, because I just know I'm really going to like it, because I really like grumpy old men that kick ass, and that is what that book is, so I really need to read it. I also have that one on audiobook, and I really need to read some more audiobooks because I've currently got like 2-3 audiobooks on this list, and the rest are physical books, which I don't know how I'm going to get through all this. Let's not question it. Let's just believe in me. So that's it. Those are the books that I've definitely planned to read this month. I'm not sure how this is going to go. Obviously I'm going to be focusing on the Because We Can readathon between the 11th and the 17th of May, but the rest of the month I'm going to be reading these other books. Are you taking part in a bajillion readathons like I am? May seems to be the month for it, so you know. I'll be posting my Because We Can readathon TBR later on this week, so I mean if you want to hear what I'm reading for that, then please stick around on my channel, maybe subscribe, you know, do what you do. And if you like this video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!